Alright, today on Motor Talk with Chris, we're going to do an oil change on a 2007 Toyota Prius. First thing I would ask you to do is please hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications for my latest videos over here on Motor Talk with Chris. Alright, so the items that you're going to need when you do an oil change, of course you're going to need a oil filter wrench. Of course, we're going to need our oil filter. We're going to need a funnel. We're going to need our oil. And then we're going to need a wrench to remove the oil plug on the oil pan. And last but not least, we're going to need a catch pan. What I like to do when I do an oil change, is I like to take off the oil cap. And the reason why I want to take off the oil cap is to create an airflow, allow the air, allow all the oil to completely drip out of the engine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under the car, place the oil pan under the car, and then I'm going to allow all the oil to drain out as well as take out the oil pan. I'm sorry, the oil filter as well. Alright, so after taking the oil, letting the oil drip down and taking off the oil filter, it's been about 10 minutes now, and I'm coming to slow drips, and which is really nothing really wrong with that. And what I like to do is I like to use 2050 motor oil. And the reason why I like to use 2050 is because 2050 is a thicker oil. And when you have a 1.5 liter engine, and for a person that went to school for mechanics, you have no idea how hard a 1.5 liter engine works. The revolutions, everything that's going on, you need a thicker viscosity oil. Now I'm going to do a video later on explaining to you the viscosity of oil. And basically, and telling you in this video now, 2050 is a thicker oil. So if it's a thicker oil, that means that when it gets pumped up through the engine, it clings to the metal a lot longer than a thinner grade oil. 2050 means that the oil is thicker. Viscosity means the thickness of the oil. Okay, so now that I have the oil drained out, it's been about 15 minutes now, I'm going to return the oil cap. I'm going to put I'm sorry. I got to add the oil, I'm going to put that on right now, and I'll put it back on. So I just want to put that on right now, and then I'll take it back off to go ahead and put the oil in. So we'll do that in a second. Okay, so I got the oil pan, I got the oil plug back on. So now what I have to do now is just put the oil filter back on. But there's a little trick before you put the oil filter back on, and I'm going to show you that right now. Okay, now that I got the old filter off and I got the new filter, what you always want to do, which is extremely important, is you want to match up the filters, because sometimes if you got a smaller filter on there, you can screw up your engine pressure. And you don't want to do that at all. If you got a filter that's too big, the seals may not line up, and you may have yourself oil spewing out of the bottom of your car, heats up, and your car may catch on fire because the engine gets hot. So I'm going to show you a neat trick to assure that you in fact have the right oil filter when you're doing an oil change. Okay, so I got the new oil filter out of the box, okay, and so what you want to do is you simply want to take the new filter and stack it on the old filter. You want to take the new filter and stack it on the old filter, and what you would see is a perfect line. You would see a perfect parallel. In addition to that, you'll notice when you stack them, your seal rings, which is here, will add up, and you will definitely have a good seal, so you know you have the right filter. Okay, so you got the assurance that you're using the right filter. So now what you want to do before you place the new filter on the vehicle, you want to put oil on the seal. Okay, so you can simply do that by taking your hand and just running it along the seal. That's it. All right, you want to take some of your new oil and run it on the seal. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to get this thing back in the vehicle. Okay, so I got the new filter on, and if we could look down through there, you'll see the orange filter. All right, so now I got the filter on. And when you put the filter back on, what you simply want to do is you want to just make it hand tight. You don't need the filter wrench to put the filter back on. You don't want to do that. You just simply want to make it hand tight. Fram is good for using. Have that that nice grip on the tip of the filter. You can really get a good grip on there and tighten that thing up. You just need it hand tight. As strong as you can get it on there, hand tight, that'll work just fine. Now, the Toyota Prius 2007 takes 4 quarts of oil, and so I have my 4 quarts of oil. So we're going to place our our funnel inside the oil, and we're going to pour the oil. Now, like I said, I use 2050. It's a very thick oil, and the reason why I use 2050, the manufacturer suggests that you use a 520. The reason why I don't use a 520 is because it's a 4-cylinder engine. It gets hot, and because a 4-cylinder engine gets hot, that heat will destroy the viscosity of oil. I know there are engineers that calculate all this stuff, but honestly, I don't think you will do the engine any harm putting a thicker grade of oil. A lot of people say, well, the reason why you don't want to do that if you live in a state where it gets hot, you know, it gets thick, it freezes, it gels up. That doesn't do that. I don't live in a cold state where that happens. I simply want to give my engine the best protection with the right stuff. Okay, the 2007 Toyota Prius take 4 quarts of oil, and this thing is 5 quarts. 5 quarts. So, of course, I have 1 quart left. So that means 4 quarts is inside the vehicle. All right, so we got the oil in the vehicle. We got everything buttoned back up. We're going to tighten this thing up. Remember, you just got to make this hand tight. Don't have to put any crazy amount of pressure on it. So what are we going to do now? We're going to start the car up. We're going to let it run for about 3 minutes and check for leaks as the car is running. All right, we are inside the car now, and for all those that have a hybrid knows that when you start the vehicle up, it's actually going to be in electric mode. So with hybrid cars, you don't really start the car up. You only turn the car on, and then the vehicle waits for your command. Now, one way to get the vehicle to, once you start it up, one way to get the vehicle to get the engine to kick in is simply start the car, power up the car, and turn the, there's nothing. Now, if I turn on the climate, the car will start. Because there it is, the car just started up. The engine is on. Now if I go into this and turn it off, or should I say I start that same process, I shut the car off, and then turn the car back on. The car is simply is just waiting, it's doing nothing. The car isn't on. Now, if I go into this, now the engine, there it is, the engine is on. All right, so what we're gonna do now is just go and look under the car, check for leaks. and see where we are from there. Okay, we let about 5 minutes go by. We have no leaks. Everything seems to be good. And so, hey, listen, I hope you guys learned something from this vehicle. I'm sorry, from this video. I hope you guys learned something, because what I'm simply doing is I'm just giving you guys some ideas. I will do a video on viscosity. I'm gonna get some strainers. I'm gonna show you guys just the simple thickness of what this car recommends and what I actually put in there, and give you a better example of why I put a thicker viscosity oil in this 1.5 liter engine. So I do appreciate it. Share the video, hit that like button. Thanks for this edition of Motor Talk with Chris. I will catch you guys on the next one.